Good evening. I shall resign the presidency at noon tomorrow.
This is an historic day, the only time a president has ever resigned from office.
Nixon knew about the Watergate cover-up.
The man who has committed the greatest felony in American history will never stand trial.
I've had an idea for an interview. Richard Nixon.
You're a talk show host.
I spent yesterday watching you interview the Bee Gees.
Weren't they terrific?
I will ruin you if it takes the rest of my life.
What have I done?
If in this interview Nixon exonerates himself, poor, that would be the worst crime of all. 3, 2,
Cue David. Are you really saying the president can do something illegal?
I'm saying that when the president does it, that means it's not illegal.
I'm sorry?
Okay, now we have Frost/Nixon, which is a 2008 historical film, which is actually based on a play of the same name. And it tells the story of the 1977 televised Frost-Nixon interviews. And this is directed by Ron Howard, who is not one of my favorite directors, but he has made a few films that I do enjoy very much. It stars the two original actors who were in the original London and Broadway productions of the play, Frank Langella as former President Richard Nixon, and Michael Sheen as the British TV broadcaster David Frost. The film really is a very simple premise of David Frost trying to first organize and then conduct these interviews with former President Nixon, who at this time made history by being the first president to resign from office. And really what the goal here for David Frost is not fame, not glory, but rather to get an interview in which Nixon apologizes and admits that he was involved in criminal activities with the Watergate scandal. In a sense, because Nixon was pardoned by his replacement, Gerald Ford, basically Nixon will be getting the trial he never got. One of the things I liked about this film a lot was its almost documentary style. Not just the way it was shot, but I'll get to how it's shot right now first, though. It's shot, there's a lot of handheld sequences, there's a lot of things, almost like paparazzi-ish, where they're through the windows, there's some shots in the bushes, and then of course there's handheld shots, you know, as people are coming out of cars and stuff, and it's very, not shaky, but handheld, and you can notice, and it gives that sense that you're almost watching sort of like a documentary film, and that is heightened by the fact that every now and then in the film, you will get a little cut to a quote-unquote interview with these actors portraying their characters, and it gives you an insight into their mind. They're like, well, at the time, I didn't know that this was going to happen, and stuff like that. So, in a sense that, not only do you get to feel like you're seeing real events unfold, you also get to see inside the minds of a lot of these people. And it is great to really get that. It's one of the things you can get from a book that almost you can't always get in the film, is that you can really get inside their mind without actually literally going in some sci-fi fashion. Fantastic. Another thing I liked are the performances. One of the things I found very good about this film was the supporting roles. Everyone does a fine enough job. Kevin Bacon does a great job as being one of those those hard-nosed guys who's really out to defend the president and make sure he doesn't do anything wrong and to step on anyone who tries to ruin his reputation. Then you have, I'm blanking on their names, I'm sorry, but you have these three guys who are sort of part of Frost's team conducting, planning for all this stuff, and they get great performance too. One of them is actually quite a humorous character, and I'm sorry I'm blanking on his name right now, but he's not humorous in the goofy, cartoony, slapstick sense of fashion. He's just a very humorous character, and some of the things he says put a smile on my face or made me chuckle. But the two great performances are undeniably by Frank Langella and Michael Sheen. Michael Sheen is great as David Frost. I can't pretend I know a lot about David Frost, though. The one who really stood out for me was Frank Langella as Richard Nixon. At first I was like, well, he doesn't really look like Nixon, how can he do this? But he ended up giving one of the best performances of the year, in my opinion. He captures the mannerisms, just the voice, and even times there are shots where he actually does look like Richard Nixon. It was really great to see that. This is undeniably so far one of my top 5 films of 2008. And what I liked about it is that it wasn't a film trying to say, let's make Nixon look like an asshole or a douchebag. Actually, by the end of it, I kind of felt a little sorry for it, for him. So there you have it. Frost / Nixon, one of the top 5 films of 2008 for me so far, and definitely going to be my top 10.
My name is Harvey Milk, and I'm here to recruit you.
If homosexuals are allowed their civil rights, then so would prostitutes or thieves or anyone else.
40 years old, and I haven't done a thing.
I'm not going to be forced out of San Francisco by social deviants and incorrigibles.
We need one of our own in office. We could have a revolution here.
I don't do losing. There she is, our new campaign manager.
You all scared of girls?
You'll be the first openly gay man elected to major office.
So you're part of the machine now.
Society can't exist without the family.
We're not against that.
Can 2 men reproduce?
No, but God knows we keep trying.
Here, first we have Milk. Now, this is a film directed by Gus Van Sant, who is arguably best known for his work in Good Will Hunting. This is a film, a biographical film, that tells the story of Harvey Milk, who became the first who was a gay rights activist and the first openly gay man to be elected into public office in California as a member of the San Francisco Board of Supervisors. You have Sean Penn playing Harvey Milk. Josh Brolin portrays Dan White, who was the former San Francisco supervisor, who ended up assassinating both the mayor, George Moscone, I believe, I can't remember right now, and Harvey Milk. They don't. If you know anything about Harvey Milk, you know, of course, that he died, and the film does not try to hide the fact that this is true. In fact, it opens up with, I believe, was archival footage of police arresting people and such like that, announcing and such that Harvey Milk had been assassinated. And then from there on, it goes back and sort of explores not only Harvey Milk's political career, but his life, wanting to find a larger acceptance of his gay lifestyle. And then naturally, of course, you get to the old stuff of his political work. The film then, of course, in the last act, takes a focus on going against Proposition 6, which I believe was to not allow gay, ban gay and lesbian teachers from working in public schools. And of course, you know, Josh Brolin plays Dan White, who ends up assassinating him. And this whole film is, you're watching this man live his life, you're watching him being an inspiring individual, and it's tragic when you know that he is going to die. And yet at the same time, by the end of the movie, yes, you're sad, yes, you're very, in some senses, angry, but also the message of the film is a lot more powerful. It's pretty much almost what Milk was going for. It's like, my message will last longer than anyone who can ever bring me down will, or longer than me. And that's what's great about this film, is that it's very empowering, it's very inspirational, and it's very moving. As I said before, it ends tragically, but you're left with such a sense of, wow, this man accomplished so much, this man was so dedicated to his cause, that you can't help but almost cheer. The performances in this film are great. It stars, as I mentioned, Sean Penn and Josh Brolin, but of course there's also Emile Hirsch, James Franco. This is a great cast. Everyone does a great job. One of the people who surprised me was James Franco. He's not one of my favorite actors, but he's not one of the worst in my opinion. But here he just a little bit better, and I was really surprised by him. But the two big guys here are, of course, Sean Penn and Josh Brolin. They have a tremendous chemistry together. And it's great to see them work, knowing that one of them will end up killing the other one. It's very great stuff to watch. And of course, Sean Penn is brilliant in this role. So far, I'm torn between him and Frank Langella. I'd say Sean Penn at the moment deserves the Best Picture, Best Actor Academy Award. This is a great film. It's not a film that I can actually say it's a masterpiece, or that I would go out of my way to see again, maybe. But I would love to watch it again. Yet at the same time, I don't know that I'd ever really consider it the best of the decade, or certainly of the year. It is definitely one of the best films of the year. So I say watch it, and I'm going to give both of these films this rating. Just shy off of calling them a masterpiece. So there you have it, guys. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.